Let's get started with our first news. Justin Gaethje is aiming to finish Rafael Fiziev in their rematch at UFC 313. Gaethje previously defeated Fiziev via majority decision in March 2023, but he refuses to rely on that performance, acknowledging that every fight presents new challenges. This time, Gaethje is determined to deliver a statement finish, hoping an impressive victory will earn him a title shot against Islam Makhachev for the UFC lightweight title next. I mean, he's world class, you know. He's been training and focusing on striking his whole life, and I was a little bit different as I wrestled my entire life growing up. But yeah, he's a world class athlete, very explosive, very powerful, and yeah, I'm excited to try and get the finish this time. But I'm going to fight smart, you know. Against a guy that dangerous, you have to be perfect and not make mistakes, and that's top of the list. Every single one of these fights is such a unique experience. There's not a lot you can pull from the last fight, and if I was to try and rely on information from that fight, I think it would be detrimental. These fights are fast, just 15 minutes in time, and I have to take it as a new experience. Against a guy this dangerous or anybody at this level of fighting, it's about not making mistakes. Confidence is one of the biggest factors, and that's been one of my biggest challenges coming off of a knockout. But I look at Alex Pereira, I look at Weili Zhang, they're both champions, and they both got knocked out before that. That's a testament to what I can do and what I want to do. At the end of the day, it's about getting myself into the win column. A lot of these championship fights are about timing, and I think with a nice, decisive, and exciting win, there will be no doubt that I will be one of the top contenders for the title. Moving on to the second news, Israel Adesanya predicts Alex Pereira to knock out Magomed Ankalaev. Izzy predicts that Alex Pereira will knock Magomed Ankalaev out in the 4th or 5th round. Go check out Izzy's full breakdown of UFC 313 on his YouTube channel, links in the description. Well, he will have to catch Alex when he makes a mistake, so counters. If he catches him on a counter, it could be a dangerous night. But I just think this fight is going to be leggy kicks, leggy kicks, leggy kicks, and then left hook. Alex Pereira by knockout. I'm going KO. It's just, yeah, under 2.5 rounds or over 2.5 rounds. 4th or 5th round, he's going to knock him out. Adesanya broke it down with pure confidence, emphasizing that Pereira's striking is just on another level. Ankalaev is tough, no doubt about it, but Adesanya believes that the champion's power will simply be too much. Pereira has been working on his game plan, and it all comes down to timing. A perfectly placed leg kick or a well-timed left hook could be all it takes to end the night for Ankalaev. Izzy also mentioned that Pereira's ability to control the pace of the fight will be a key factor. Ankalaev is a calculated fighter, he doesn't rush in, and he likes to dictate the fight on his terms. But if Pereira gets into his rhythm, starts pressuring, and finds those openings, it could be a nightmare for Ankalaev. Adesanya further pointed out that Pereira has evolved as a fighter. He's been adding new tools to his arsenal, and with every fight, he just gets better and more dangerous. He's not just a power puncher, he's strategic, he's technical, and he knows how to finish. Izzy doubled down on his belief that once Pereira finds that window of opportunity, it's game over. So the big question is, will Ankalaev be able to survive Pereira's power, or will Adesanya's prediction come true? One thing's for sure, this fight is going to be an absolute war. Fans can expect a high-stakes battle between two elite fighters, and if Pereira lands clean, it could be lights out. Let's see if Izzy's prediction becomes reality. Moving on to another news, Topuria's manager shares intriguing details about negotiations for Islam Makhachev's super fight. During an appearance on the Ariel Helwani show, Kawa blamed Team Makhachev for stalling the fight. He also made it clear that if Ilia isn't granted an immediate title shot at 155, he has no intention of vacating his featherweight belt. Is it up to Islam at this point? Meaning, does the UFC agree with him fighting for the belt in his first fight at 155? Look, let me ask you this. You've known me for 20 years, right? Do you really think that we make moves without having the necessary conversations? No one has told us that we couldn't fight for the title, and to this day, no one has said, "You're not fighting for the title." Let me put it like that. There is no chance Topuria is vacating his belt without a title fight in his next fight. It doesn't even make sense for the UFC as a promotion to have him fight someone else when he's already a champion. This is probably the biggest fight they can make right now, outside of Bones versus Aspinall. What if he beats Islam? Then you're talking about the biggest star in the sport. He will reach that stratosphere that Conor McGregor reached, especially if he wins by knockout. This guy has that Mike Tyson aura, and if he continues to fight this way, we are looking at a superstar in the making. People need to understand what's at stake here. This isn't just another fight, this is history in the making. You have a guy like Topuria, undefeated, destroying the competition at featherweight, and now he's knocking on the door of the lightweight division, ready to take on the best. If the UFC wants to make the biggest fight possible, this is it. There's no other matchup that generates this level of excitement and hype. And let's be real, if Ilia does go up and beat Islam, you're looking at a legacy-changing moment. A two-division champion taking down one of the most dominant fighters in the world. That's the kind of thing that makes you a global superstar. Fans know this, the UFC knows this, and Team Topuria is ready. The only question is Team Makhachev ready, or are they going to keep stalling? Because from where I'm sitting, it's starting to look like they don't want this fight. With the negotiations still up in the air, all eyes are on the UFC to see what happens next. Will Topuria get his shot at greatness, or will politics and hesitation keep this mega fight from happening? One thing is for sure, the fans want it. Moving on to another news, Gaethje blasts cheater Michael Chandler. Recently, Chandler faced heavy criticism from Dustin Poirier, who accused him of cheating during their fight. Now, Chandler is under fire again, this time from Justin Gaethje. Gaethje weighed in on the recent controversy surrounding eye pokes in MMA while taking shots at Chandler. I got poked in the eye by Max twice, but I will never tell you that I lost that fight because of that. That's not the mindset you can have. If we were skilled enough to poke someone in the eye, we'd be skilled enough to punch them in the chin. But let me tell you this, Michael Chandler does a lot of bullshit. Almost everything he does is a blatant foul, immediate point taken away. Smoking people in the back of the head, doing illegal moves on purpose. There's eye pokes and then there's blatant fouls. I just don't think it's possible to purposely poke someone in the eye. That's a small target and we are trying to hit each other in the head. But Chandler, he knows what he's doing. He bends the rules every single time. Watch his fights. You'll see the headbutts, the fence grabs, the back of the head strikes. He gets away with it too often and it needs to stop. We are in there to fight fair, not to pull off cheap tricks. If the referees were stricter, guys like Chandler wouldn't get away with this crap. It's one thing to accidentally poke someone in the eye, but it's another to make fouls a part of your game. That's what Chandler does. He takes advantage of the system, and it's frustrating. Someone needs to hold him accountable before he seriously hurts someone. Moving on to another news, Alex Pereira calls for a crossover fight versus Usyk. On Wednesday, UFC boss Dana White announced that he is launching a boxing league. This news comes just weeks after boxing's best heavyweight, Alexander Usyk, called out Alex Pereira for a retirement show fight. Pereira reacted to the big news and said he's open to a crossover fight. He even shared a potential date and location. Dana White is getting into the boxing business. Does a fight with Alexander Usyk become more real? Absolutely, man, I was hyped. I was happy when I heard the news. Who knows? September, Saudi Arabia. This could be something huge. Imagine the UFC champion stepping into the ring against the boxing champion. That's history right there. Usyk is one of the best boxers in the world, but I love challenges. I respect him, but I'm ready to test myself against the best. If the opportunity is there, I'll take it. However, Dana White quickly shut down Pereira's request during an interview on the Pat McAfee show. Oh no, never. I'm sure there are guys who want to box, but I literally do not want to see any of that. We'll keep the boxers in boxing and the MMA guys in MMA. Look, we've built the UFC into the biggest fighting organization in the world, and we're not in the business of making crossover fights happen. The UFC is its own thing. We have killers here in MMA, and they should focus on being the best in this sport. With Dana White's response, it looks like a crossover fight is off the table, at least for now. But knowing Pereira, he won't stop chasing big challenges, and if there's a chance to make it happen in the future, you can bet he'll be ready. Moving on to another news, Colby Covington and Robert Whittaker predict UFC 313. Covington uploaded a video featuring Robert Whittaker where they discussed their predictions for UFC 313. Both Covington and Whittaker predict that Alex Pereira will defeat Magomed Ankalaev. Man, it's hard to pick. Either Pereira knocks him out or he gets held down for 5 rounds and loses. But I'm gonna go with Pereira. Every round starts on the feet and he hits so hard. And let's be honest, he's been working on his takedown defense. We've seen it before. Fighters underestimate him and then boom, that left hook lands and it's game over. Ankalaev is a beast, no doubt, but when you're standing in front of Pereira, one mistake is all it takes. Whittaker agreed, adding, Pereira's leg kicks are a problem. He doesn't even wind up. He just snaps them. You might not see it coming, but it's there. Those calf kicks slow you down, take away your movement, and against a guy like Ankalaev, that could be a huge factor. But hey, we can't count Ankalaev out either. He's tough, he's durable, and he knows how to control a fight. If he plays it smart, he could grind out a victory. They also discussed how Ankalaev's game plan might change due to Ramadan. I heard he might not hydrate properly after weigh-ins because of Ramadan. That's insane. Mad respect to him for his discipline, but man, that could play a huge factor. It's already hard enough to cut weight, and now you're telling me he won't fully rehydrate. That's tough. Covington and Whittaker also highlighted Pereira's ability to improve rapidly in MMA. People forget Pereira hasn't been doing MMA for that long, but he's already a 2-division champion. That's crazy. His learning curve is insane, and every time he fights, he looks sharper. If Ankalaev thinks he's going to fight the same Pereira from a year ago, he's in for a rude awakening. Another factor they touched on was Ankalaev's patience. Magomed doesn't rush things, he's methodical, he's calculated, and if he gets Pereira down, he's going to stay on top. But the question is, can he do it consistently? Can he hold Pereira down for 5 rounds? That's a big ask. And that wraps up today's news. Like, comment, and subscribe for more.